Hello there. I'm Danielle Ralston. I am the founder and head coach here at ND Out Loud. What is ND Out Loud? ND Out Loud is a team of neurodivergent coaches. We are neurodivergent, every single one of us. TBIs, PTSD, ADHD, autism, ADHD, and so much more. Bipolar disorder, all of the things. We also have a passion for supporting others like us, so you don't have to struggle like we did in our past. We have all taken trainings and certifications and all of that so that we can support you in living a better life and upgrading all of the things that are frustrating about your life. What is this session going to give you? This session is going to give you actionable tips. So yes, we're going to talk about our programs and all of the things that we offer, but I want you to walk away with something actionable for something that is overwhelming, frustrating, or just plain annoying you right now in your life. Or if you're a parent or a spouse of someone with neurodivergence, to help them as well. I want you to walk away with something today. So please sign up today for a free call. We can learn more about each other. Hello, hello, hello. Today, Tim and I are talking about why managers need more training.
Yep.
In every level of management.
Yep. So we have some numbers that we're going to present here that are very clear about where we are currently at the workforce, and then how, generally speaking, employees do not leave your company or any company in question because of pay or culture, or yes, culture, but pay is not necessarily the key component. It's managers, it's leadership. So we're going to talk about that, but I think, we need to put the foundational element of me, Tim Blonsky, sounding like a broken record and speaking to that. But we know that as an American workforce, and really as a worldwide workforce, we are in a demographic shortage, we are in a worker shortage, and it's exacerbated by millions of baby boomers that are retiring every year. So we have a workforce that is aging very rapidly, and the subsequent generational cohorts with Gen X and the millennial cohorts don't have enough people to replace the people that are leaving the workforce. So we're just in that place, and it's a fact, whether, it's verifiable in many, many different ways.
And even Gen X is starting to retire.
Yep. Yeah.
Like the top end of Gen X, I'm towards the bottom end of it. Tim is the exact bottom end of it, but even Gen Xers are starting to retire.
Yeah. So we know that the labor participation rate for the Gen X generation is about 68%. So that's 68% of about 61 million people that are participating in today's workforce. And then that many, many, many of those that are not participating are those that are involved in the gig economy. So they're driving Uber, Grubhub, DoorDash, that sort of thing. Or, they're in an entrepreneurial mindset because they got burned out of the American corporate workforce because of the leadership that's in there. And that's all, again, there's lots of statistics to back this up.
Yeah, just this morning, looking things up, I came up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different polls that were done. And this was in less than 3 minutes that it took me to find this. 7 different polls on why at least 50 to 75% of the workforce leaves a job because of a bad manager.
Yep. And we know that the average time that an employee spends with an employer is 3 to 5 years, which that goes right in line with what you just said. So our dad worked the same company for 38 years. That does not happen anymore.
Our grandfather worked for the same company for 42 years. Our uncles and aunts who all worked at Kodak worked there from the time they got out of the army until they retired. Yeah. That no longer exists because of what we're going to discuss here with bad managers.
Yes. So we're going to talk about that, and that's where we come in with ND Visionary Partners, where we have an incredible team of experts from all different corners of this area of expertise. And so we can come in with a very non-biased viewpoint of taking a 30,000 foot view of your company and all the different things that you can do to attract talent and retain that talent.
So Why do people have trouble with their managers? So there's a variety of issues here. Lack of recognition by a manager, managers who actually steal their projects and take credit for things, micromanagement, especially if you're a neurodivergent, managers who micromanage are a huge problem because, and if you're neurotypical, they're even more annoying. Leading employees to seek better opportunities within the company. Yep. That is a big thing that many companies don't do anymore. Companies putting managers into place without leadership training.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a really big one.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And so, there's a lot of angles that we can attack with this. There's, like I just know that personally, see a lot of people that have these incredible skills and talent. And they say, okay, well, because you're so good, I'm going to make you a manager, but they don't have the people skills that are necessary for them to be a good manager. So like, it's almost like the hierarchy is set up in a very rigid way of, okay, you've accomplished X, so therefore now you're promoted to the next role, and now you're expected to be a good manager, whether you are or not, because there's certain people that just can't be good managers, and that's okay. That's not a bad judgment to make. That side of it where, the hierarchy is set up in a very structured, then you move up to this level and this level. And so there's no flexibility within the company to say, okay, well, this person has these skills that are really good, but does not have the people skills. Let's maybe move the positions around in such a way that the person can thrive in what they do well, and the other people can thrive in what they do well. So personality profile is like a really big thing for you to kind of like help you understand your team's strengths and weaknesses, and understanding that the weaknesses are not necessarily judgments. The weaknesses are things that perhaps you can work on, and you can then understand, oh, okay, maybe I'm not a good people person. What can I do to become one? And then on the other side, like there are certain people that are incredibly skillful in their work, but they could never be managers, and that should be a judgment call that the employer makes, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. And there are a lot of skills that everybody can learn. Leadership skills. Everybody on a team should have leadership skills, from your janitor all the way up to every manager should be getting at least quarterly leadership training, because we need to be more emotionally and labor-based intelligent now inside the workforces in order to keep our quality employees. And leadership training can be anything from explaining what the ADA laws are, because that's a really important part of being a manager, because a manager can get your company sued if they don't know the ADA laws. There is a huge cost benefit to that. I have a client who is currently just won in court with using the ADA to help her go after her boss, the company, because her boss wouldn't let her take notes during a meeting. That was the whole entire reason.
Yeah, that boggles my mind in 2025. Yeah, especially, yeah.
And well, that tells me that the manager, one, didn't have good leadership training, two, didn't understand ADA laws, three, was hiding something. Because if an employee can't take notes in a meeting, that means the manager didn't want to be held accountable for anything they said in a meeting. That's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we have, as you already said, Gallup research indicates that 75% of employees would voluntarily leave their jobs, cite a bad boss and a bad manager as the primary reason. Mm-hmm. So, and going back to this whole idea of, not idea, the statistics that are backed up the side that we are in a worker shortage. So you're not in a place now where you could just, flippantly just replace that worker and replace them with someone else. It's not going to happen in today's current economy. So now is the time for you to really kind of like come to terms with you would personally. So if you're a manager and you happen to be watching this, now is the time for you to maybe take a look at yourself and be authentic to yourself about like, okay, here are some of the things that I need to work on to be better in my job, because it's going to get a little tight out there.
Oh, it's going to get a little tight. And we are in a really unique position right now where thousands, and I'm guessing hundreds of thousands by the time we're through this transition period right now, are getting laid off from jobs. That doesn't mean they're qualified to go into other jobs.
Yeah.
And because they should have retired 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So yes, we've got a lot of people flooding into the market, but a stat that I saw, and it's not an official stat yet because they're still getting numbers together, is over 80% of those people leaving government jobs should have retired 5 to 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So like,
they're not coming into the workforce.
No, they're not. And then immigration, and the issues that we're seeing with that, not that we want to get in any kind of political space here, but that's also.
It is still a reality. So we're going to have low skill jobs that need people in them. We're going to have high skilled jobs that need people in them. We're seeing a huge change with how AI is used in the workforce. So there's going to be a lot of changes that are needed in leadership to understand AI and how that affects people. And again, and I don't remember the stat, maybe Tim will. Well, from our own wide survey, 73% of people who work in a company right now have a hidden disability. 73% have hidden disabilities. Yep. So if you are not supporting those people, you have even less people to pick from, less people to be hiring. And then you have bad managers on top of it. And I will tell you, especially in the neurodivergent crowd or people with other invisible disabilities that impact their workday, if you don't have managers who are well trained in how to support them, and again, these aren't massive money driving accommodations or support or huge expenses for a company, but if we are not training these new managers in these issues, you're just plain not going to get the employees you want.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so like when we talk about people with disabilities, we know that statistically the national average of the unemployment rate for people with disabilities is about double the national average. But we also know that 92% of neurodivergent autistic people are not employed or gainfully employed in this current workforce. And so that is a huge talent pool that you could be tapping into. But you need to be ready to be able to tap into it. It's not like you could just wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, let's hire people from the talent pool. You really need to have intensive training, but it's not training where you need to get a 4-year degree in the field. It's the training of, just a few sit downs to really kind of go through everything and helping us walk through the process of that attraction and retention of that talent.
So in our case here in the Visionary Partners, will we come into a company, we're going for intensive trainings with your management team and then offer support for a whole year via email, via other check-in meetings and things like that to your managers to make sure that they have everything they need in order to support invisible disabilities.
And then, it's not like after a year later that we just walk out and say bye, like we're here really forever from that point on.
Yeah.
We're not here to make money. We're here to really make an impact, which is,
That's huge.
Yeah. So, Danielle, why don't you expand on the WIDE survey and what that is and how employers can utilize it?
So how we come in and we push out a WIDE survey. It's called the WIDE survey. We're going to push it out to every single employee in your company, from C-suite down to your janitors. And we're going to take data to find out how many people have disabilities, how many people in your company feel well supported in their disabilities, how many people, even without disabilities, feel supported in your business, what things are missing in your business to provide them the support they need. And then we're going to support you in creating and filling in all of those gaps that we find for the survey. And we're not going to single out the people that have disabilities to only train people that deal with them or just the people with disabilities. We're going to train all of your staff because you are only as strong as your weakest link. However, your people with disabilities on your team are not your weakest link. Your weakest link are bad managers.
Yeah, they very much are. So these are anonymous surveys. So like from top to bottom, we're just taking the data from it. Everything that we do is data driven. We don't put emotion into this. Like, obviously it's just a passion about Danielle, myself, and the rest of the team. But emotion is not a part of it. It's all data. And the data is driven in such a way that it helps to understand how we craft the training that we do with you as the employer. Because every employer is a little different in how they approach everything. And then, we come up with a very comprehensive and very specific training package that we can present to you, everyone in the company, or just the C-suite, or the type of conversation that we need to have with you.
And one of the big parts of that is understanding that not everybody needs training in your whole entire company.
Yep.
Not everybody needs the same level of training. Not every company does. Some companies are great and know their ADA laws, but they don't know the day-to-day accommodations and things that you need to support your workforce. I mean, it comes down to, what does your company need? What are the unique value propositions that you need to increase your productivity? What do you need to increase your, whatever your bottom line is? Is it productivity? Is it hours worked? Is it being able to hire? So labor intelligence. We have leadership team. We have a labor intelligence team, obviously with Tim here. We have neurodivergent consultants and invisible disability consultants. We have corporate leadership strategists on team, because you need to do each of those pieces is based on what you as a company need.
Yeah. One of the things that we have found, Ed, we've been doing this, is the unexpected benefit that the employers get in understanding that their current employees, that maybe they've been there a year, they've been there 15 years, that have an invisible disability, that that employee or group of employees are in their own personal journey and figuring out who they are, that's always the lifelong proposition. Where now, for the first time in their employment with your company, are feeling heard and feeling seen. And now they're much more productive than they've ever been in their job, because now they're in a place of because they're understood and they kind of understand themselves. Then now they're in a place of understanding their strengths and weaknesses. And then now you basically have a new employee, even though the employee's been there 15 years. So, we've seen that over and over and over again. And I just want to put that out there.
It's so important for your staff to be trained in what your company needs are, but based on data, not some consultant coming in and saying, oh, you need to train all of your staff on these 3 things. And that's part of why we switched from DEI consulting, because it doesn't cover everything that needs to be covered at all. There are a lot of gaps with DEI. DEI has absolutely had some problems over the last however many years. And we're coming back in to make sure that we're looking at things based on the merit of your company.
Yep.
What are the merits that your company needs? Yeah.
Yeah. So merit-based hiring, so it's really based upon skills, and it always has been, but we're really just trying to fine-tune the messaging that's behind that.
Yeah, well, and because DEI had a lot of gaps. There are a lot of DEI was originally founded to help people with disabilities, invisible and visible disabilities, to be able to get into the workforce. And how many people are still not in the workforce and not gainfully employed in the disabled community? That DEI has not done its job there. So we want to do a better job and give you a better hiring and talent pool, because that is what it's about. It's about your bottom line and you're increasing your money that's coming into your company and your profits. And if you don't have data behind that,
yeah, it's
not going to help.
Yeah, and that's in the face of some very real changes that are going to be happening in the workforce over the next, really, from now to 2030, we're going to see some major shifts. And then from that point on, we're going to be dealing with the repercussions of those shifts for really
So as a company, if you're looking at what's coming and unsure of how to make these shifts, reach out to us at ND Visionary Partners. We are here to help you make those shifts, hire better employees, increase your profit, increase your productivity, all of the things that have been missing in the workforce for a very long time, and help you hire from a talent pool that you may not have ever considered. If you have questions, please reach out to us. We are here to answer all of those questions and to support you into this next version of corporate world.
Yes.
Have a good day.